Hi everyone, and welcome to another Heroes and Bosses video. This time I'm doing a super fast speed paint of the adult intruders from Nemesis, though this method can be used on all of the aliens. The first step I'll be doing is a zenithal prime with rattle cans. To achieve this effect I'm using three colors, black, gray, and white. The first step is to spray the miniature from below at a 45-degree angle with the black. I'm also spraying this straight ahead to make sure I get the belly and any other hidden nooks on the miniature. There really is no point in spraying the entire miniature in black, though some people do it out of habit just to make sure everything is covered in primer. So here's what your alien should look like after the black paint is applied. Next up is the gray paint. This time I'm going to be spraying down at the miniature from a 45-degree angle. I'm setting the mini down this time to make sure I'm getting it at the same angle with each blast of the paint. Next up is the white paint, and I'm just giving this guy a spritz from directly above. You should wear a glove for this part so you don't get paint all over your hand like I just did. So here's how the alien is looking after 3 primer colors, which took about 60 seconds of work, and I only gave the primer about 1 to 2 minutes of drying time in between each color. That's the hardest part over with. The zenithal prime is going to be a key part of this quick paint job. So to finish this mini off, I'll be using 4 different colors and 4 different washes. The first color I'm using is Spaceship Exterior, which is a light gray, to do a simple dry brush on the entire miniature. I want to make sure that all the features of the exoskeleton have a nice edge highlight. Now moving on to a wash, which I've made from 10 drops of Coelia Greenshade and 4 drops of Nuln oil. The main color of the alien is going to be determined by this wash, and the zenithal prime is going to provide all the shadows and highlights. I'm using this wash to completely cover the miniature. The best advice I can give for this part is to completely cover one body part at a time and make sure all of it is covered. If you have to go back later for a spot you missed, you're going to leave tide marks. Also make sure that you don't have any heavy pooling in any flat areas, though there really aren't a lot of those on this miniature. Give that time to dry completely before moving on to the next step. Now I'm going back to Spaceship Exterior, and I'm giving the alien one final dry brush to bring out the edges that may have been dulled by the wash. Next I'm going to paint the inside of the mouth and the exposed muscle tissue with tanned flesh. So far the alien is a bit monochromatic, so even a little bit of color is going to go a long way. Once all the flesh color has dried, I'm going to Reikland Fleshshade wash, and I'm covering the inside of the mouth and the muscle tissue. Now I'm going to paint the metal floor of the base using gunmetal from Army Painter. Once the floor is dry, I'm completely covering it with Nuln oil gloss, though regular Nuln oil will do just fine. And the last step before I use a varnish is to paint the rim of the base. I'm going to go with German Grey for this. Not including the drying times for things, this paint job took about 25 minutes. If you were batch painting these, you could probably do them all without having to pause, if you really wanted to get all 8 adult intruders done in one day. For this paint job, I'm going with a Satin varnish. These guys look like they should have a glossy exoskeleton. Just as a finishing touch, and to add a bit more color, I'm splashing on a bit of blood for the blood god onto one of the front stabby appendages, and on one of the hands, and I might as well do a bit on the floor as well. I'm also going to thin some of this down with a bit of water and dab it around inside the mouth. So there you go. If you're like me and you didn't get the Sundrop miniatures but still want your baddies to look cool on the gaming table, here's one way that you can do it. Thank you to all my patrons for the support of these videos, and a special thanks to Brian Jones for sponsoring the channel. If you want to see more Nemesis miniatures painted, just let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.